Jungle Terror, Multiplier, and Serum. It's tutorial time. First of all, the sound. It's a high energy subgenre of electro house, and I suppose the main guy pushing it will be Wiwek, spelt like this, and probably the biggest guy pushing it will be Skrillex, alongside, I suppose, Diplo. In Jack U, they did a song called Jungle Bay, and also Rawtek is a little bit smaller than the other two, but another fantastic jungle terror producer pushing the sound that I rather like. It's fun, it's exciting, and the knowledge will start now. So what I'm going to do is deconstruct it backwards and show you the important concepts that make it sound like it actually sounds. First of all, effects. There's a delay with a reasonably short delay time, around 90 milliseconds, and as a result, it kind of gives it a more frenetic sort of energy. Like there's not just one crazy bird, crazy animal doing the sort of squawking and stuff, but there's actually an entire jungle. Jungle terror. Fine, but not really frenetic enough, not really exciting enough. So like the entire jungle is squawking at you, not just a single bird, and that makes it more exciting. Reverb. Reverb fills out the mix and also gives it a more sort of realistic vibe as it puts it in a real space. Reverb, standard stuff for a big room lead. But let me show you where it gets a bit more interesting. Click. As you may have guessed looking at this Serum preset as it was playing, LFO1 is doing the defining modulation. In fact, I'm going to turn off the effects just so it's even clearer what the initial stages do. And this LFO1 is doing two important things. First of all, it's modulating filter cutoff. You can see this bandpass filter. Sort of mellow peak, kind of like a bandpass filter sort of thing. This mountain shape filter. The LFO1 is modulating this mountain shape filter. Just not as good. Boring. Much better with mountain. Maybe remember it with a story. Sometimes there are mountains in the jungle or jungles in the mountains. And so mountain filter looks like a mountain for jungle terror. Makes sense to my brain. Now the next step is equally important. It's one of those make or break steps of the synthesis process. And that is this LFO1 is modulating pitch. Click. You can see, ignore the wavetable position modulation. In this particular example, that's not doing an awful lot of stuff, but instead notice much more importantly, LFO1 is modulating coarse pitch, which we can see in more detail in the matrix. So we're in the matrix now, and we can see LFO1 is modulating, ignore all the other ones. The important one is this one. Yes, LFO1 coarse pitch. Now I know that this particular position that I've set it to is exactly 1 octave, because I can go to double click for typable values and then type in 12ST for 12 semitones, and it stays where it is. And there's an important point here, but first of all, let me show you a before and after, just to show you how important this particular modulation is. So as I change the modifier to bypass, that's effectively turning off that LFO1 modulation on coarse pitch. So doesn't sound like a bird, not very like a jungle, not very terrifying, just a bit useless. It's a critical modulation. It needs to happen to get that bird jungly sort of vibe. So click, activate. Bird jungle vibes. Probably not crocodile, but some sort of mad jungle animal, hence jungle terror. Now, an important detail here. I have set the modulation limit for this modulation to be 1 octave. Therefore, if you imagine what's happening here in LFO1, all these different positions they're modulating to aren't any particular note, and that is for a good reason. If you listen to a bird in the jungle or a giant crazy frog, some sort of animal that makes a squawky noise or some form of noise in the real life jungle sort of land, then that particular, we'll call it bird or crazy frog, we'll mix and match between bird and crazy frog. That particular animal, bird, isn't going to be singing to precise notes that we use on the keyboard. When a bird's sort of trying to chat up another bird and being like, come on bird, let's mate and stuff, they're not doing it to F3 or G5. They're not going to specific pitches on the keyboard. They're just sort of making noises within their own sort of pitch brain. I can explain that better. I think birds do go to specific pitches. They have their own sort of specific pitch specific to them, but that specific pitch has got nothing to do with our keyboard. And therefore, when you program in these pitches that the little bird is singing to that one, singing to that one, and so on, you don't want these to be a specific note on our keyboard. Instead, you want it to be somewhere else. And that's an important detail to make it sound real. And then apart from that, it's pretty much just a case of dialing in the particular wavetable to get the right sort of type of animal, and then also the specific pattern for the LFO to get the right sort of riff, get the right sort of riff for the particular rhythm of the track you're creating. That note sounds more like the frog. Anything else I should mention? Oh yes, there's no unison. So if you, by instinct, maybe you're just used to always setting a unison number of 2 or 7 or something. If you normally just apply unison willy-nilly, in this case, don't. Unison number of 1 is all you need, and in fact, all you want. Jungle Terror, Wiwek, Rawtek, Skrillex. These are the sounds that I like, and that is how to make it in Serum. My name has been Multiplier, and I will catch you guys. Draft. Jungle Terror. Jungle. Giraffes live in the jungle. Mr. Giraffe. On the flippity flip.